I'm about to tell you a story that might rob you of your sleep. If you got a weak heart, better stop right here. And even if you think you're strong, I'd still advise you to whisper a prayer before you go on, because this story clings. It latches onto your bones and doesn't let go. It happened 3 years ago. Back then, I had a friend, Ethan. We were both obsessed with road trips. Motorcycles, winding mountain roads, and the kind of silence you only find far away from civilization. We'd done trips before, but this one was supposed to be special. Our plan was to ride up north into the Devil's Valley. That's what the locals called it. We started from Riverton, crossed the Blackstone Bridge over the river, and by the time we rolled into the little town of Mill Creek, evening had fallen. There was a roadside diner, the kind with peeling paint and rusted chairs scattered outside. We stopped for tea and a stretch. Our destination that night was a place called Dawson, about 2 hours further. The plan was simple: Dawson tonight, and then on through Hollow Ridge into Silverdale by the next evening. But fate had a different itinerary. We sat on the porch of that diner, sipping bitter tea, shooting the breeze. Inevitably, the talk turned to ghosts and spirits. Ethan shivered and said, "I heard these mountains are crawling with them. Wraiths, demons, things that don't belong." I laughed. "Good. Maybe we'll meet one. That'll make this trip worthwhile." Ethan frowned. "Man, don't joke like that. If something shows up, I'm handing it straight over to you. I want no part of it." I laughed louder. "You coward. They're just like us, creatures of God. If I meet one, I'll shake its hand and buy it a drink." That's when one of the locals, an old man with a weathered face, turned around and cut in. His voice was sharp, like gravel scraping across concrete. "Pray you never meet them," he said. "You laugh because you've never had them touch your life. But once you've looked into the eyes of those things, you won't ever laugh again." For the first time, Ethan and I fell silent. I cleared my throat. "What can they do, old man? We're human. We're the chosen. They can't harm us." The man came closer, his eyes dark as a storm. "Yes, you're human, but there are lines drawn between our world and theirs. Cross those lines, and you'll wish you hadn't been born." I joked and asked if he'd ever met them. His answer was cold. "Son, everyone in these mountains meets them sooner or later. Some are marked for life, so never come back." His words should have sobered me. Instead, they fanned the flames of my obsession. I needed to see them, to meet them. When the locals left, Ethan and I stretched out on the diner's cots by the river and drifted into uneasy sleep. We woke only when the owner shook us. Midnight had crept in, and the diner was closing. Seeing our hesitation about riding at night, the owner offered us a room. Just 2 cots in a shack behind the diner. But before he left, he fixed us with a long, strange look. "No matter what happens," he said, "don't leave the room at night." I asked why. His mouth opened, then closed again. Finally, he muttered, "Wild animals come down from the mountains. Best you stay inside." He didn't sound like he believed his own words. Later, Ethan fell asleep, but I couldn't. Restless, I stepped outside for a cigarette. The moon washed the valley in silver. The river rumbled like something alive, gnashing its teeth. That's when I heard it. A laugh. High, feminine, echoing. I froze. My first thought was hallucination. Then it came again, closer this time. My eyes swept the landscape and landed on a figure. A girl, draped in white, sitting on a boulder. She was too far from me to see her face, but the way her form shifted in the moonlight made my stomach twist. She rose, drifting toward the mountain path. Without thinking, I called out. She turned, and God help me, she was beautiful. Beautiful in a way that hurt. Eyes like midnight water. A face that seemed sculpted from moonlight itself. "My name is Lily," she said softly when I reached her. "I live on the far side of the ridge." Her voice was music and poison. She spoke of how she loved to watch the river under the moon, how fear was for others, not for her. When I mentioned ghosts and demons, she laughed, and the whole mountain seemed to laugh with her. I should have turned back, but when she said, "Come with me," I followed. The path wound higher, and finally we reached a lonely cabin of stacked stones. It stood alone, no neighbors, no light, nothing but shadows pressing close. Inside, her family waited. A father, massive and grim. A mother with eyes like a knife's edge. A brother whose silence was worse than any words. They welcomed me with unsettling warmth, thanking me for bringing Lily home. But when they thought I wasn't listening, I heard them through the cracks of the door. "Kill him," the father growled. "Cut him up. We'll roast him at dawn." The son's voice was weary. "Let him sleep first. Fresh meat tastes better in the morning." And Lily, sweet, beautiful Lily, laughed and said, "Yes, Papa, I'll give him the drink. He'll sleep until sunrise." My blood went cold. When she returned with a clay cup of red liquid, I pretended to drink. She smiled, satisfied. Later, when she left me in a darkened room, I lay still until I was sure. Then I slipped out, heart hammering. The door wasn't locked. The night air hit me like ice. I ran harder than I'd ever run, the mountain trail a blur, cliffs yawning black beside me. Somehow, by miracle or madness, I burst back onto the highway and saw the diner in the distance. I collapsed beside Ethan, who woke to find me pale, shaking, half dead. By dawn, I was gone from that cursed valley. To this day, I don't know what they were: demons, wraiths, cannibals. All I know is this: something in those mountains still waits for strangers. And sometimes, when the night is quiet enough, I can still hear Lily's laughter.